Imagine a little boy, no older than 6, standing alone in the rain, his tiny hands clutching an old, tattered book. His stomach rumbled with hunger, but his eyes were fixed on something greater, his dream. This is the story of Daniel, an orphan who defied all odds to become a doctor, not for wealth or fame, but to save children who, like him, once had no one. Daniel's earliest memories were of loneliness. His parents were lost to an accident when he was just a toddler, leaving him abandoned in a world that had little mercy for orphans. He grew up in a crowded shelter where food was scarce, warmth was a luxury, and love was non-existent. But what Daniel had was determination. At night, when the other children slept, he would sit by the dim light of a broken street lamp, reading pages of an old medical book he had found in the trash. He didn't understand all the words, but he knew one thing: doctors saved lives, and he wanted to be one. Life in the orphanage was brutal. He was often mocked for dreaming beyond the streets. "You'll never be more than a beggar," they sneered. But Daniel refused to believe them. At school, he worked harder than anyone else. He cleaned classrooms, ran errands for teachers, anything to stay in that environment of learning. Then came the hardest day of his life. At 14, he was told he had to leave the orphanage. There was no place for grown boys. With nowhere to go, Daniel slept on park benches, surviving on scraps. But even then, he refused to let go of his dream. One fateful evening, an old doctor named Mr. Thompson saw Daniel reading outside his clinic. Impressed by the boy's hunger for knowledge, he asked, "Why do you study so hard?" Daniel looked up, eyes fierce with determination. "Because one day, I'll wear a white coat and help children who have no one." Dr. Thompson was moved. He offered Daniel a small job at his clinic, cleaning floors, running errands. It wasn't much, but for Daniel, it was everything. It meant survival. It meant learning. Under Dr. Thompson's guidance, Daniel studied even harder. He saved every penny and earned a scholarship to medical school. But challenges didn't stop there. Working long shifts, sleepless nights, exhaustion beyond belief. There were moments of doubt, moments when he felt like giving up. But then he would remember the cold nights, the hunger, the loneliness, and he would push forward. Years passed. Daniel graduated. Against all odds, the orphan had become a doctor. Now, wearing the white coat he once dreamed of, Daniel returned to the very orphanage he had been forced to leave. He set up a small, free clinic where sick children could receive treatment without fear of being turned away. One evening, a young boy, thin and shivering, stepped into the clinic. He had no parents, no home, no hope. Daniel knelt beside him, a warm smile on his face. "Don't worry," he whispered. "I know exactly how you feel." Because once upon a time, he had been that child, and now he was the one saving them. This is not just Daniel's story. This is a story of resilience, of never giving up, of holding on to dreams, no matter how impossible they seem. Because sometimes, the ones who have nothing become the ones who give everything.